It was the dawn of the streaming age, where fandoms gather and deep dives flourish. Four friends, bound by a shared love of stories, embark on a journey to a legendary space station. Two veterans of the ancient television wars, revisiting a familiar battlefield. Two newcomers, eager to explore its mysteries and unravel its secrets. And a canine companion, ever watchful, ever present. Their mission? To boldly go where many have gone before, armed with wit, wisdom, and the occasional wild theory. This is the story of Babble On. The year is 2025. The place, wherever you get your podcasts.
Hell of a thing to cut out.
Yes, I know. You missed all the nipple talk. Anyway, welcome to the Babble On
Just the
podcast.
dog. Just the dog.
That's somehow weirder.
Yes, it is.
It is weird.
Today we're going to be talking, we just watched Born to the Purple, and we're going to be talking about it. I'm Jenny. I'm a big
Why is
fan
it called
of the show.
Born to the Purple?
Well,
Because the
that could be
files
something
were the
we
purple
discussed.
files.
You're right. They were the purple files. You're right.
What else is the? Sorry, Jenny, you were introducing yourself.
I was just introducing myself. And let's just, I go ahead. You guys, you go. Introduce yourselves now.
That's right. I'm Jenn. I'm a screenwriter and a showrunner and an actor too. Yeah, I'll just throw it in there.
You are also.
I have seen the series in the past, in the distant past, and I am rewatching it and have a lot to say.
I'm Gus. I'm a big nerd who likes science fiction stuff. I'm also an actor. I've never seen this before. It's great.
I'm Allie, and I'm a screenwriter and an actor and a podcaster, and I've never seen the show either.
Yeah, and you have questions and strong thoughts about cloaks and capes and apparently dog nipples. So, which has been cut out. That nobody's going to know what we're talking about.
Okay. So in between recording for the episode, I feel like I have to explain.
Yeah,
I do
know.
feel like I have
30
to.
minutes to
there.
talk, and we're going to spend
It's
time
gonna-
about dog
a few
nip.
seconds, just so I don't seem like a weird pervert. I felt something weird on my dog's stomach, and I made Gus look at it, and he claims it's a nipple, and that it was what we were.
That's what we were talking about in the in-between time.
And so everyone was laughing at me
Yes.
because
No,
I
we
was
were relieved
concerned
that it was just a nipple.
about the dog.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love this dog so much.
Born to the nipple.
Born to the nipple.
Babylon 5 episode.
Yes.
So I think Born to the Purple is an excellent title. Do you have any thought? Because I never actually thought about it. I was just like, oh, cool. It sounds dramatic. But
Well, and I think it's because he is. It is about class. This particular episode is a lot about class or castes or whatever class system. And so he was born to the purple. He is born nobility.
Oh, that's why they wear purple.
And he has, he's royal, I guess, and he has access to information that the royals or the nobles have known about this class system that are probably damaging. Because part of the incentive for her to betray him was because her slave owner was telling her, "Isn't it horrible that you live in this, world where you were." Forced into slavery and the royals just do what they want.
I mean,
So
the answer is yes.
I'm guessing
Yes.
that's.
I mean, unfortunately, that is
literally
an opinion
the answer.
that is very based.
But here's the thing. He's the slave owner.
I know.
He
That's
could
the
just
problem.
free her.
He could just free her. And so you kind of go, well, sir, you seem to be upset about something that you have a lot of control over.
I think you're part of the problem, my man.
You may or may not be a part of the problem.
Yes. I will say, just because I keep forgetting to do this, I'm going to do it right now so I don't forget. This episode was written Larry DiTillio. So not Jane
Larry. Well done, Larry.
DiTillio. Yeah,
We're proud of you.
Larry DiTillio worked with JMS a lot before. Like, JMS brought him on. They worked together on Murder, She Wrote, and they worked together, I think, on 2 separate animated shows. Like they worked
several shows,
together.
and they kept bringing each other along. Yeah.
Well, if there's one thing we love doing, it's bringing our friends onto projects with us. That
That
is
is
our
true.
favorite
Isn't it,
activity. Isn't it, Jeff?
Isn't it, Allie?
It is our favorite activity.
Yeah.
We love to work together with people we like. It's
right.
a weird thing about people. We like working with people we like.
It is
So weird.
interesting how, as humans, we do that. So yeah.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts though? We got this. Yeah, a woman who is a slave, and you were all calling Pretty Woman and Honora, which I haven't seen, but people having feelings for sex workers, I guess, is the premise that we are beginning with.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the timeliness of the episode was, I mean, considering the Oscars
Russians.
were yesterday, 2 days ago, it was timely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very, very timely.
And neither of you have seen Honora,
No.
so you don't even know.
No.
No.
It's pretty good.
It's a great movie.
And it was, I thought it was refreshing. I mean, okay, so what is this, 94? And I don't know, when did Pretty Woman come out? 93? I mean, it's right in that time, time zone of like, people trying to start like opening their minds and actually being progressive about sex workers after
What if
many
sex
years
workers
of not
were
being
people?
so. Right?
Yeah.
And also she's a
A
dancer. She
shocking
isn't.
thought.
Also, yeah, to say too, she is a dancer. I don't think there's any indication necessarily that she's a prostitute. I think she's just a dancer.
Yeah.
But yeah, like right out of the gate, Londo is very much in love with her, admires what she does, seems to be in love with her, and instantly, not instantly, it's partway through, but he very quickly says, "I'm taking you out in public," and he didn't even play the card at the beginning of like, we have to keep this quiet, nobody can see me
he
with
never
you.
once.
Yeah, he didn't. So that I think
I'm
is
not
also
going to say anything
very
about
progressive
Honora.
for the time.
You all have to watch it
Because
this week.
I know.
Londo,
Oh, do not watch it, Jen, with your children. Do not watch it with
no,
your
no.
children.
My
Do
brother was
not
like-
watch it with your children.
Here's what my brother said. He said, "Make sure you wait until the kids have gone to bed. Boners will be had all around." That's how he described it.
Okay, that's a good description.
That's it. You're also going to cry.
Yeah, you are going to cry
Okay.
as well.
Yeah.
It's a very good movie.
It's good. It's
Like
good.
weepy boners, I'm assuming.
Yes. Kind of. Actually, yes.
It's like you're going to have a boner, but you're going to feel bad about it.
Oh dear. Okay.
Kind of.
Okay.
No, it's a really good movie. You have to watch it
very
this week
good
and then
movie.
report back.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a really good movie.
You know who else had a boner? Londo. Because there was all that shit with him in that dressing gown. It's a terrible segue. I'm sorry.
Which is why
she had
the
amazing-
dressing. Did he have the dressing gown on to hide the boner?
Could be.
She had oh, that dressing gown was tragic. That was a tragic.
It was like an Ebenezer Scrooge, like is what
That
he looked
was
like.
tragic.
He's about to meet three
You will
ghosts.
be visited
It
by
was.
3 spirits.
I do really enjoy. Though I have to say, I enjoy the costume design.
Oh, God, yeah.
Of the like specifically of the Centauri being French, 1800s. Like it's a really yeah, it's really
Very
fun.
imperial.
I love that they're going there, even down to the dressing gowns.
My buddy Andrew, who has watched this entire series, I was talking to him. He's like, "I love Londo. I love the Centauris. They're like space Russians." He went, "No, you mean the Italian space vampires?" And I went, "Sure,
Sure.
we'll take that."
You can map them onto a fair amount of people, I'm sure.
French
It's
Renaissance,
Yeah.
Victorian.
Although if we're looking for a vampire, it's Trachis. Trachis straight up looking
definitely.
like
Dracula
Dracula
was a
over here.
straight up
Yeah.
vampire. That man will be in my nightmares tonight. That is my sleep paralysis demon.
But that is something we talked
yeah.
about a lot while we were watching, was both how good the costuming is in this episode, between both the Centauri, like you're talking about, and also, I forgot her name, unfortunately, but the girl, the woman.
Adira
No, the
in
other
this
one,
episode?
the Adira, yeah.
Ivanova. Oh, Adira.
Adira,
Yeah.
which sounds like a Nora.
Yeah, that dress was
Her
incredible.
dress was incredible, and then the prosthetics.
The
were
prosthetics
insane.
on like extras.
On like what
Yeah,
off
On,
guys.
yeah.
on those
The
two
background.
guys in the trench coats.
There's
the
a
leather
woman-
trench, the sick leather trench coats.
Adira has her change of heart moment watching a woman with a vertical face made of teeth receive
Yep.
flowers.
That was sick.
She's on screen for
Yep.
10 seconds.
How long did it take to
Yeah.
make that extra look like that?
Yeah.
Forever.
Hey, going
Yeah.
back to Star Trek names, crossover names in Star Trek, Adira is in Discovery.
Oh, I gotta watch Discovery.
Yeah, Blue
I'm behind.
Del Barrio plays Adira
Okay.
in Star Trek Discovery. And so just the whole time I was like, Adira, why do I know Adira so well in a space setting like
in a
this?
space
Now
setting,
I
yeah.
remember. Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
I wanted to bring
Adira,
something
Honora.
up. Yeah, talking about the prosthetics last week, and you can't follow him because people will like spoil things in comments, but I do follow JMS on Blue Sky. Last week, somebody made a comment, and this is not going to spoil things, I guess. This is not the last female Centauri that we're going to meet. And so they made a comment about the basically the way the female Centauri are. Now this Centauri, clearly using a bald cap, like you can definitely see it. They don't all do that. Some of them are actually bald because the casting went out of their way to cast actors who were bald. Like if you were going through chemotherapy or something, they went out of their way to do that. Yeah, because they thought like these actors need jobs.
That's
they made
great.
like they let be known for that. So
I love that.
Yeah.
We will continue to find this. Cool.
There are some amazingly progressive choices that were being made during the making of the show that I didn't know at the time. It's all, again, like following JMS and reading stuff, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. There's some really thoughtful and mindful things that are surprising in the 90s to see in the 90s. Yeah.
Interesting. I feel like this episode, in terms of because I'm thinking of this show specifically as well in the context that it was presented originally, which was 5-season arc. Mm-hmm. So I'm always also looking for where are we moving plot forward? Mm-hmm. Interesting that this one didn't really. It was a very character-focused episode, which is not something that I'm saying is unimportant or is somehow less than an episode that just pushes plot. I'm glad that we got to spend time really diving into characters and their relationships, both with one another and with the people in their lives. Between Londo and Jakar, Londo and Adira, Ivanova and her dad, Garibaldi and Ivanova, Sinclair and Talia.
Talia, good. Oh, look at you remembering new Telepath's name. You getting over your anger?
Yeah.
We're not mad at Talia.
Talia's fine. I have
We're
nothing
mad
wrong
at
with
the situation.
Talia. I just miss
Lita.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm writing something down to talk about in Grey Council.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
We don't talk about Grey Council.
We don't talk
Gravity.
about
2 gravities.
17 gravities.
Yes.
It's just an aura ring. She's just wearing an aura ring, just scaring him. It's all in his head.
She's just wearing an aura ring. That's all in his head.
It's all psychosomatic, is what it was.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. If Delenn started doing that to me, I would be like, "You're right, I am. I'm sorry."
But I mean, we talked about how serialized this show is and how it is an arc, but the tight story arcs that you're familiar with are the tight story arcs that we're familiar with now. This is the beginning of that. So, he's still, they're still figuring stuff out as far as that goes. And I think this is a great character.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he's also he was still faking out the network at this point to make them not think that it was this heavily serialized.
Sure, okay.
He was definitely still playing them.
Yeah. Not just faking out the network, faking out viewers like me who are like, oh, good, I can just come in and pop in and go away. It's fine. It's Star Trek. So
A brilliant ruse.
Indeed. Okay, so we talked a bit about about Londo. There's other characters Ivanova. Let's talk about Ivanova. What was happening with her, which you didn't realize. I found myself actually laughing at points where she's kind of taunting Garibaldi about so did you find it? Did you find it? Oh no, there's no trace, huh? And if you don't know, you're not watching her, you're watching him. But I was watching her, and she's got this smug look on her face, there's no trace. Yeah, I'm good.
Cheeky.
Yeah.
She is taunting him. But I'm weird energy for someone who doesn't want him to investigate to taunt him.
Kind of. I feel like her tactic is not sound.
It was
not the best
particularly sound. No.
I think she was just delighting in her own cleverness and didn't think he'd actually figure it out.
Yeah.
They were both a little too clever for their own good.
I liked getting a little bit more with Ivanova, though, because so far all of the backstory and lore we've gotten for her is my mom was a telepath and she died, and so I hate telepaths, and I wasn't in the pilot, so I'm missing 20 minutes of screen time that Takashima got instead of me, and you've only seen me for 2 episodes now.
And I'm Russian and I don't like fun.
I'm Russian and Russian and Russian and good to get a little bit of humanity.
A lot of different kinds of space Russians.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. All kinds of space Russians. Wow.
All kinds of space Russians right now.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Which they were front of mind. They're always front of mind.
It was the 90s, very.
It was the 90s. Yeah. It was the front of mind.
I like her. I mean, I miss Takashima.
Yeah.
But I can see how they were able to kind of take elements of Takashima's character that probably would have been carried forward with Takashima and transplant them onto Ivanova.
Yeah.
Although I still feel like I know her I know the doctor the least well, because all I know about him is he's real cute.
How dare you?
That's it.
Real cute.
I've seen enough. I love him.
Yeah, I do think he's great.
He's got his smile like lights up the room.
Lights up the room.
Real
Lights
cute.
up the room. He came into that casting department and they were like, this one.
This is the guy.
Yes, yeah, for sure. Oh, whoops.
Crest White Strips ad. This guy.
Yeah.
And hey, maybe we see Dr. Ben at some point if he's the president's Santiago.
No, Santiago. Yeah, Santiago.
Oh, yeah.
He's his personal doctor now. So
Whoa. So maybe there's a way. When there's a will, there's a way. That's what they say.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, the other thing.
Anything else?
I know you are very interested in the telepath, like the corpo telepath stuff. We saw some stuff about the telepath rules this episode, and
yeah.
Yes, but then it was funny because she was like, "Don't think about these things. Don't think about them."
great.
That was hilarious. I love when we have rules and then we have funny ways to break the rules.
yeah.
And also,
I love it.
I like setting up the magic and the mythology. I like the rules of that. Of like, I can get what somebody's got on their surface.
Yeah.
With like, you have to actually physically do something different, not just listen harder, but do something different to
Yeah.
go deeper than that. So if you
that
can bring it
makes
up to the
sense. It's
surface,
like-
it's there.
Yeah, it's like, what do they call it in police? Like when you can't search, but like if it's like evident, you can
Oh, probable cause.
probable cause. Yeah, like it's
Yeah.
just right there or something. In some of like his comments at the time, like when he was talking about this, he talked about how like obviously he wanted to make rules for like if there were telepaths, we would have rules for them. That it makes sense. But part of the other reason for doing it is he didn't want them to be like. How do you pronounce that? I've never said Deus Ex Machina. I've never said that out loud.
Oh,
Deus
Deus
Ex
Ex
Machina.
Machina.
Thank you. I've literally never said that out loud until just now. But he didn't want them to be that. Because if you have telepaths, they can always come in and solve the problem.
Yeah.
So, to making rules around them makes it
They're
so that
super
they
OP
can-
no matter what. Yeah.
Yeah. So they need to be hamstrung by something. That's the thing about magic. You need to have it get hamstrung by something. Otherwise, it's just overpowered.
As I recall in the pilot, to get information from the Vorlon, Kosh, she had to take her glove off and then also reach into his suit
Yes.
to get anything.
To make
So-
contact or something.
To
And
probe.
you notice like the telepaths are always wearing gloves.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't. Oh.
Like
That's
the
good.
witches
Look at that lore.
from
Look at that
Roald
world
Dahl.
building.
Like the witches
Yeah.
from
I
Roald Dahl.
don't think I read that one.
I didn't read that one either. I have a whole all set, like
What?
literally 5 feet away from me, and I'm,
What?
you know,
No!
You are getting very shocked by gaps in our
The Witches. Roald Dahl's The Witches is not.
It's the best one.
It's not in the first 5 Roald Dahl books I would name.
It's the best one,
It
though.
was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory,
Yeah.
Charlie and the Great Cat.
Yeah, and all of them are
Matilda.
ass compared to the witches.
Matilda?
They're all ass compared to the witches.
BFG?
The witches is the best one, and it's not close. The witches is the best one. It's the best one. It's the reason I write. It's that and Lemony Snicket's Series of Unfortunate
Those are
Events.
pretty good.
Those are the 2 reasons that I'm a writer right now. And this is shocking to me that the man I love and marry has never read The Witches.
You
It's
still haven't watched
a-
Star Trek.
I have watched some of it. You have read none of it.
I watched all of Friends. The deal was I watched Friends, he watched Star Trek.
There's a lot more Star Trek. And you were allowed to do other things. We have had this fight so many times.
Literally
Last
on my
time
channel.
we talked to you. Yeah, I'm sorry. We're gonna stop now. I apologize.
We've had this fight so many times.
I fast forwarded through it in the video on my channel, and so many people were like, "Jenny, we wanted to hear that." I'm like, "No, it's fine."
No, you didn't. It's
But there you go. Now you got it.
yeah.
That's the
Well,
argument.
we went on for about 10 minutes last time, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
we'll do it again. We'll do it again. Give us like a month, 2 months. We'll do it again.
This is the thing. No, we're gonna have it. We're gonna have the fight. Actually,
No,
All right,
we can't. We only have 10 minutes till you gotta leave.
All right, fine. Later we'll have the fight. Some other episode, because this will come up again.
It
Because
will
it comes up
absolutely
like
come up
every
again.
few days.
Every few days. Oh my god.
Sorry, Babble On 5. Yeah, what were we talking about?
we were babbling on.
We do
We
that.
were indeed. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Anything else?
Go ahead, Allie.
I
Yeah,
was saying okay to bring attention back to you.
Okay. writers, I do have a question, just because I'm, especially after listening to your show episodes about the Wheel of Time, you talked about how the A plot and the B plot, how often they complement each other. How in this, like, we have this, I don't even want, it's like a B, it's like a D plot, because it's such a small part of the episode with what was happening with Ivanova, and in comparison to what's going on with Londo. Like, can you see any reason for pairing these?
Those feel more separate to me than I would like normally. I mean, they feel more like Love Boat stories. Like, so Love Boat had 3 different storylines, and they were written by 3 different sets of writers. Like, so,
really?
And yeah. They would have like different writers writing each subplot, and that's why they like never crossed over in the show either. Like, you never had guest star 1 and 2 run into guest star 5 and 6. Like, they never even met each other. So
I had no idea about that.
Yeah, and they were just completely different storylines. So this felt, I was actually trying to figure that out, like themically, what was there about? Was it about family, or was it about communication? Was it about abuse of power? Ivanova's like using her power to use the gold channel. Like, were any of those things? No.
Secrets on the computer.
I got one.
Computer secrets.
Preconceived notions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's very faint.
Computer secrets.
Yeah.
Also, we had people in bed in both plot lines.
We did. I wouldn't normally
different
put
uses
those
of
two,
the bed.
Different uses of bed.
Very different uses of the bed.
Yes.
Death bed. Other kinds of bed.
Well, and the release of Death and the release of her slave contract, like, there's something about that. I mean, honestly, I don't buy that JMS didn't have it, because he is a really thoughtful writer. Like me, I think sometimes he tends to obscure it because it seems obvious to him, but the rest of us really have to work hard to find it. And I'm always like, I'm so clever. I'm like covering these things up, and it's like, it's really clever. And people are like, it's just not gettable by anybody but you. So,
I identify with that so hard. I'll be like, I'm so clever. And whenever I think I'm so clever, I have to delete it because I know it's not going to fly.
Or if I'm sending my script off to somebody to read, I'm like, if I have to like write an email that would literally be like 2 pages of script anyway, like to explain all the places where I'm so clever, clearly not worried. I'm not confident that I'm as clever as I think I am. I'm making myself not write emails anymore is a big part of that. I'm like, if they can't get it, if they don't see it, I'm not.
If they don't see it, that's why you have people read it. You have other people read it because you're like, I'm so clever, and somebody's like, I don't understand anything that's happening or why this exists. I had somebody say this to me one time. They're like, I don't understand why this exists.
Oh my God, that's hard. That's hard.
But, what's interesting is, like, I would say that actually, so Allie and I can both speak to this. I think that being a preschool writer has made me better, because I find people say, you can't be clever in preschool. Like, kids won't get it. They need to have everything spelled out. And I'm like, F you, kids are smart. They'll figure it out. I get really angry with kids won't get it, or they don't care, or it won't matter because it's just for kids. I get very, very angry about that. But I think that in that same process, I've been like, well, I do need to spell out just enough that the kids can get it. And it's made me, I think, a better writer, because I think actually kids get more deep things, and adults kind of do want to be spoon-fed when they're watching TV because they've gone to work all day. They're tired. Their heads have been in other places. They want to come in and just sit down and enjoy. And so, and not to say that I don't still write very clever. I do. I write way over clever. But anyway, just saying.
But I feel like, I feel like it's this fine line, right, between like explaining what you're trying to do or like getting on a soapbox or which people hate, or like the audience getting ahead of you to a point where they're bored. And I think it's such a careful line that you have to draw. And then there was this one time, this is humbling, I watched a preschool show where I did not understand the episode at all.
Like, as an adult.
As an adult. I was like, I know there's something about trauma in here, but I just don't know what is trauma. And then I felt really dumb, and then Gus watched it and was also like, I don't understand what's being done here.
I don't remember this. I'm sure it happened. I just don't remember what it was.
After we get off.
I'll share after we get off. I'll share after we get off. Both of us were like, are we dumb? This is made for children. But I don't understand what they're trying to say. So that was pretty funny. But yeah, no, that can happen. And I feel like, yeah, there's a certain extent to which like we get excited by our own ideas. And then we're like, oh, but I have to be like original. I have to be really original and push the boundaries and stuff. And then sometimes the crux of it gets a little lost in that translation.
In the first Malazan book of the Fallen, long fantasy series written by a guy named Steven Erikson, there are these two gods who are doing stuff, and they have other identities. And you're kind of like wondering what they might be throughout the course of the book. And then he published the book, and people were like, wow, I can't wait to figure out who the gods are. And he was like, what do you mean, figure out? I told you. And everybody was like, you did? He was like, yeah, I thought it was really obvious. And everybody was like, no. So then about 200 pages into the second book, some people are talking and somebody goes, hey, who do you think these gods are? And this other guy goes, oh, they're obviously so and so and so and so. And they went, oh, that makes sense. And then it just goes from there.
Hilarious.
So. Robert Jordan with Who Killed Asmodean, and he's like, what?
Right? What, you didn't all know?
I know
Intuitively obvious to even the most casual observer.
Yes, that was his quote.
I think I have it.
You've mentioned.
I think I have it. If I don't, then it is Robert who is wrong.
Anything else you want from us on this episode, which I really liked? Not just because it focused a lot on Londo and Adira.
Yeah, I do feel like we're in that kind of phase now where we're getting to know people more and getting a little more of like a fleshed out look. I love the new lady. I love her. The woman who's growling at men. I love her.
Oh my God.
10 out of 10 character.
Madonna.
More of her. I want to see her in every
Yeah.
episode. Every episode that I don't see her in is a wasted episode. That's what I feel.
Whatever that sound she was making, like whatever sound
She's like, I'm like,
Throwing
this lady,
a man across the club.
I'm like, this lady has seen a cat go hunting because that's what cats do.
But that's the same guy who was giving that weird lady with the teeth the flowers. And I was like, I thought you were
Wait a minute.
You called her hotspot.
Men
He changed his
always
ways.
be trifling.
She punched him so hard that he
changed
went,
his
I got to
spots.
clean up. I got to respect women.
She beat the misogyny out of him.
The misogyny right out of him.
She fixed him. She was the definition
my
I can fix him.
Sometimes head injuries are good.
I'm trying to think if there's other story points I wanted to talk about.
Mostly this new lady. I love her.
I have no idea if the negotiations over. Probably this is going to be one of those things like the Dominion in Deep Space Nine, where like negotiations over this star system, which I don't remember what it was called, turn out to actually the Euphrates. Oh, you remembered it, so it's important. So because that's going to end up being like.
You know why I remembered it? It's because it's a name from the Bible. I was just like, really?
It's because it's important.
It's going to be important. It's going to be the thing the series lynches on. The whole thing is going to be about the Euphrates series.
Messed up.
Because in Deep Space Nine, they introduced the Dominion as like a comedic relief crew in a Ferengi episode, and then the Dominion turns out to be the entire thing that Deep Space Nine is about.
Okay.
This is that. The Euphrates sector is going to be the Dominion.
That's your call. Okay.
Jen's writing something down. She's taking a note for Great Council.
I am.
She is absolutely writing it down. We got it. We got it. Yes. We did it, boys. Sorry, I poked you really hard in the boob. But it's a very boob-centered episode. We got dog nipples. We got Gus getting poked in the boob by his wife. Anyway, but I feel like, you know what this whole series really is going to be about is a cool new green lady.
Cool new green lady. Yeah.
Yeah.
That they should have just called it that.
Cool new green lady.
Honestly, this was him making up to me the fact that he got rid of Takashima.
Yes, he saw into the future.
Yeah, he was like, one day Ali's going to be really upset about this. She's not born yet, I think.
No, you were.
Oh.
There's a baby out there who's going to be pissed.
There's a pissed off baby right now.
Doesn't know
in
why
32 years, she's going to be, or however many years
Since
I've
then,
been
31.
around.
94.
No, from this episode to now, it's 31 years.
31 years?
Yeah.
All right, so there's a pissed off baby out there.
Yep.
Who I need to placate with this lady who throws men at tables. And I love her, and you are sort of forgiven.
Okay.
For
JMS is
this
playing the
move.
long game.
JMS was like, I need to please this one. Sometimes I like joke about that with other people. I'm like, Arthur Miller did that for me specifically. He didn't know who I was. I wasn't even around, but he knew one day there would be a blonde with a lot of feelings.
Who needed
We make
this.
that joke on the Wheel of Time podcast too. Robert Jordan put that in for us.
Put that in just for me.
And I like the joke every time we make
It's
it.
funny every time. To me,
Every single
anyway.
time.
It's funny to me too.
Yeah, I like to pretend to be self-centered.
I think it is time for you
I'm
all to
pleased
fuck
by
off.
this.
I like the show.
I was pleased by this
Let's
episode.
watch more show. Not
This
right now,
pleased me.
but soon. Maybe in a week.
Maybe.
Probably
perhaps
in a week.
Sounds good.
Yes.
That would make sense.
All right, it's on the calendar,
All right.
the family calendar.
We'll get out of your way so you guys can
Yes.
laugh about how wrong we are about everything and how the Euphrates sector doesn't matter and it's never been important at all.
What are you writing
Last
about
call
us?
us at Zocalo.
Tell us,
Nothing. I'm
tell
not
us
writing
what you're
anything.
writing.
Not writing anything.
Bye.
Ah, my friends! You have reached the most dangerous part of our journey, the Grey Council. Here we speak of things that must not be spoken. Secrets, betrayals, spoilers. If you are not ready, turn back now. But if you dare to proceed, I promise you it will be magnificent. Oh, Mr. Garibaldi!
I do literally remember the Euphrates is because it's from the Bible. That's why I remember it.
Well, both of my kids are taking world history right now, and I still to this day vividly remember one of the first history things I ever learned was, of course, about the Tigris and Euphrates River, and I use it all the time, like ancient Mesopotamia, and I was like, oh, they're called that Euphrates, like the Euphrates River. It never shows up in the show again.
I don't think it
As
ever
far
does.
as I know, it's never
I
comes
don't
up again.
remember
I don't think.
No, it might, but it's not like a plot point. Although, okay, now that we're laughing about them about that, I need to look something up because Gus said Adira comes back in season 4. I need to look up what episode is No Hiding Place. Babylon 5. I have a feeling that is season 4. Let's see.
I think you're right.
Oh, it might be season 3. It might be season 3. Oh, it's season 3. Damn it, he's off by one season. But
He's
she doesn't
close, though. And it's
Yeah.
probably at the end of season 3.
Yes, I think it is. She doesn't come back. She's mentioned she's supposed to come back, and she's dead in that episode, which is one of my favorite episodes. I can't wait to get to that episode. I have so many thoughts about that episode. It's so good. But yes, just when he said that, I was like, shit, Gus. Holy shit.
I know. Well, and it's funny because, okay, Allie and Gus are both very good at predicting. And, both of them are just so smart about it. And as soon as I came in and just said Euphrates, and then you backed me up, and I was like, oh, they're both going to, I bet you anything they're going to jump on that and think that we remember it because it was important, as opposed to the fact that we're just remembering world history in the Bible right now.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. But I was like,
Oh my
I
God.
don't think I don't, in fact, I looked it up because I was like, I don't think it comes back. I don't think so.
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
I don't think it does. So, wow.
At least not importantly. It's not,
Yeah,
it's
not
not
important.
major.
It might be a name that's used, but I don't think it's ever important in the show ever.
Yeah.
Okay, you were taking notes like a studious podcaster.
I was, because I keep forgetting to do that every week. I didn't take very many, actually. I took a few. One of the things I just wanted to say was the whole, the death of Ivanova's dad was it just felt like JMS just writing what he wished for himself.
Yeah, especially from
his dad to apologize for not being a good dad. It was really interesting. And his dad being Russian and all of that. And which makes me think that it could have, so regarding the subplot, and I didn't want to get into this with them, but it's possible he just wrote that B story because it was a catharsis that he needed to write and it has nothing to do with the main storyline, or he does see a theme to it about the slavery and his childhood or feeling like that. There's something I think that's there, but I think it's deep enough. And as opposed to me trying to just be clever by connecting the dots, I think it was just JMS was like, of course these are emotionally linked in some way that maybe the rest of us aren't getting because it's not on the surface. Yeah. And we're not probing deeper to find out.
Yeah. See, because I don't know that I ever would have, this is not something I ever would have noticed before listening again to Ali talk about how, it's in Wheel of Time, this is the B plot and this is how it connects to the A plot. and the D plot, it never occurred to me. So I never tried to connect them. My assumption, I think, when I first watched this was, it's like she didn't get the pilot, so we need to deepen her character. So let's just give her like a little bit in the focus and the side. So that's how I read it. But yeah.
Well, it's interesting because what they have given, I mean, like the only really all we have with Ivanova so far is conversation about the mom and this bit with the dad. Like it's all just like it's her backstory. It's her familial backstory as opposed to like, how did you get here? Where were you in the war? Or any of that. We're just, which is also interesting. And again, this is not trying to bag on JMS about this, but it is interesting that like the information we have about Sinclair is you were a war hero. The information we have about the woman strong character is all about family and how she feels about things. And, and so that's just normal for the 90s, but will be interesting to see how that plays off and if we get more of those kinds of stories for anyone else either. Here's the other note I talk. Speaking, it's on the same thread, which is that they were talking about, character versus plot. And again, like you and I have both just recently, I haven't read all of it, but both of us have just been reading JMS's autobiography. And there's, he set out from the beginning, the plot of this story is how do you watch a character change?
Yeah.
How do you watch the evolution of a character or the devolution of a character? Like, that for him, he had the five season arc, and there's all kinds of plot in there to get us from A to B. But what he cared about, and what he says in his book, is he cared about how do you watch a character go from this to that. And so it's interesting
like the plot
because
had to change so dramatically when we lost Michael. When the show lost Michael O'Hare. So, but the character arcs didn't. Like
yes, and like he knew from the beginning what he wanted to do with Londo. He knew what he wanted to do with Jakar, and so, and I think it is interesting. I have always been very, very character focused as well, and it's part of what we all love about Wheel of Time is that the characters are so strong. But it is really interesting, and I think that that also. It isn't really talked about, but I think that is unusual for a series at this time in the 90s. Even X-Files, which dabbled into like long-term goals, like getting to somewhere, we know where this is going. They were still, and they were based in Mulder's character and what happened with his sister, but Mulder didn't change really, and Scully changed from being a non-believer to a believer, but like, they didn't change as much. It wasn't about that. It was about like, what happened with the alien story and are we going to ever pay it off? And so this is great. This is really fun. So interestingly, because like they're looking for like, what are the plot points that we're going to see dropped in all along? And I'm like, this one absolutely did because we set up so much about Londo's character and about him being a little more of a moralistic, upstanding kind of guy than we thought so far. That's really going to play into where we see him go at the end.
Yeah. It's because I think I think I said to you in one of our first Grey Council, but it's despite what he does, I never stop liking Londo. Yeah. Like I hate what he's done. It's horrifying. But they set such a good foundation for his character that even when I'm hating what he's done, I'm hurting for him, which is such a weird thing that it doesn't it's amazing to me that the show is able to do that because he does some horrific things. So well, that's kind of that's how I felt. I read Game of Thrones before I watched it. I mean, I read Game of Thrones before there was, before we were making it, and I remember being so angry reading the books and being like, I hate these characters. These are like all unlikable, horrible people. Why am I reading these books? Why am I still reading these books? I don't like the violence. Why am I still reading them? And I was like, wait a minute. Why am I rooting for Jaime Lannister? What is wrong with me? And I was like, oh, that's the sign of like, George R. R. Martin manipulated the shit out of me by making me actually care what happened to Jaime Lannister. That's how I felt reading Gone with the Wind. It's like, I hate all of these characters. Turn the page. I hate everybody. Turn the page. Why can't I stop reading this book? I hate everybody in this book.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Exactly. It's a sign of good writing if we can stick it out, even though, but that was the main stuff I was writing. That was, those were the things I wanted to hit on was like, they're looking for things, not knowing that what they're looking for is actually there.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of the character versus plot stuff.
And speaking of character, I feel bad. Katoth does not stick around.
I know.
So Allie, stop falling for the women because you're falling for the wrong ones.
Badass women. I know.
Yeah. Natoth, Katoth gets replaced by Natoth, who, and okay, I feel like I should have known this because I actually forgot Katoth was in this episode entirely, so I would have looked this up otherwise. I think one of them ends up not coming back because of issues with the makeup, like it's a Tin Man situation.
Oh, yeah.
But that might be, because I think Natoth, the actor who plays Natoth, gets replaced, and I think that's the makeup thing. So I don't know if that's Katoth.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah, so I think she might be around for like an episode or two, and then Natoth. Natoth is also pretty freaking cool, so she doesn't throw somebody through a table, damn it. She's just,
Right.
Yeah.
That's great. And it was also interesting. I think one of them said last time, like, are there female Centauri? Are there female
yes.
Narn?
Narn.
Oh my God. Why was that so hard? I just turned it into non and then I got really hungry. For non-bread. Sorry. But what, my question is, like, I think it was like last week, they were just like, are there females in this world? And I knew right away, as soon as we saw the bald cap, I was like, oh, that's right, she's Centauri. So it was nice to see one of each.
Yeah.
And start opening up those worlds.
JMS, like that tweet, I don't know what we called them on Blue Sky, that Blue Sky post, whatever.
I don't know. What do we call
last
them?
week. Yeah. That was last week that he was talking about the bald caps and the actors. Now that I know that, I'm going to be looking out for it because the female Centauri that show up, like one of them is Majel Barrett. She wears a bald cap. She wears a bald cap. Yeah. Yeah. She does not shave her head. She is whatever.
Oh my God, I forgot that. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So that'll be a surprise. You already found out about Chekhov showing up in the show, so let's keep Majel Barrett a surprise. But like the other ones, I know Londo is married. His 3 wives do show up, so I'm going to imagine some of them. Maybe I don't know. Yeah, that might be right. I know. I'll be looking for it too. It's really great. But there's so many really, really progressive choices that they were making about this show, and that JMS was making even in his subsequent shows. And I don't know that I have any other great. Like this one, it might be a short one. I saw you writing something when we were talking about Lita. Did you have any thoughts on Lita? Like when he was.
I was sorry. What was I writing down? I wrote down. Wait, was that what also when we were talking about Larry DiTillio? Because I did write down Larry DiTillio. I think it was that. It's really funny because Allie and I are like continuing to keep working on similar projects together, and I was like, Allie and I are each other's JMS and Larry DiTillio. Right now.
Always bring each other on your projects.
Exactly. Exactly. But I don't know, and I wrote something else that I don't know. I wrote character plot, and then I wrote I literally don't know what I wrote.
Oh, that's delightful.
I cannot read
I love it.
It's either, it looks like there's a Z in it. They look like there's a couple Z's. Dry. I
mean, the Drazi exists, but they did not come up in this episode at all.
Yeah. So, I think it was me trying to write character, but I wrote character below that. I don't know. Character plot. I don't know.
No idea.
But I cannot wait for I actually really like Talia, and I had the same thought the first week. I was like, I actually had to look it up because I was like, wait, is she Ross's ex-wife? She's not, but I had to look it up for a second, and because I'm like, she's so familiar, but the funny thing is too, because I haven't watched this in so long, the characters and the actors are so familiar to me, and I'm like, what do I know them from? I know them from this. It's been so long that I'm like, oh, I know you from something that I really know. Yeah, that's this. But I do love Lita, and I can't wait to get back to Lita.
So she returns. I love Talia too, but I do. I will. One thing I do have to mention here. I'm trying to decide whether I'll edit it out. I'll see how I can do it. I accidentally said the wrong president's name. I said Clark. Clark is the guy.
I know. Yeah,
I went Clark. And he went, no, Santiago. I was like, you're right, Santiago. Fuck.
Oh my God. I did not catch you saying Clark. I did not hear it. I heard him say Santiago, and you'd be like, yeah, Santiago. And I missed Clark, so I'm hoping I missed it too.
Whoops! I named the fascist. Whoopsie daisy.
That's hilarious. Not that that's not on our mind. That's really funny. I did not hear you say that. That's great. That's really great. I know. I keep. It's really hard for me not to just be like, "Don't worry, Lita's coming back."
Oh yeah, or Lita's coming back.
Oh my God, Cher. I can't. I have to stop myself every time I'm about to say Sinclair because I'm like, no wait, now am I saying Sinclair when I shouldn't be saying Sinclair? I should be saying Sheridan. Yeah. I'm in my head about it.
It's such a relief when we get there.
I know.
Oh, yes.
I know.
Yes. And I'm also a little afraid, like, you can't Google this show. I mean, you shouldn't ever if you're trying to go through it, but especially not before season 2, because the cast changes and the lens makeup changes. So it's the second you Google it.
Because any image will come up. If you just Google on Babble On 5, it's an image of, it's almost always an image of Delenn with hair.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question for you. Now, I don't think I've ever heard, and now I'm curious. JMS's wife interviewed. It's Kathy, right? I think his wife is Kathy.
I actually can't remember her name.
I'll have to look it up.
Right. Yeah.
Whoever's casting the show, or maybe it's a JMS thing, but like the women on the show all have pipes that are in like a deep register. Like Talia sounds like a man. Yeah, Delenn almost sounds like a man. And even Ivanova's voice is really very low. Yeah. And I'm like, and now interestingly enough, not Lita and not really Takashima as much either. Takashima, I felt like was working to like drop her voice to a lower register. I feel like she was working at it a little. But the 3 women who are on it right now have these just like very, very deep pipes. So I'm curious if that's like a JMS fetish. Women with deep voices. Not sure.
I mean, I like it, so, you know.
I know, it's great. It's great. I could listen to all of them all day. I just love them. Yeah.
I mean, Delenn, I love Delenn so much.
I do too. I was really, I forgot. I don't remember which episode she's in or not in, but, you know, we were 2 minutes in and I was like, oh yeah, there's no Delenn in this one.
No Delenn in this one. I think, like, I don't know, you will know more about this than I will, about like casting contracts and stuff. I think for probably, I know for some of this show, certain actors had a contract specifically for 13 episodes. And so that was it. I think Delenn probably has that, and for season 1. Like, I think the only ones who maybe don't have that are Sinclair, maybe Garibaldi. Like
probably Garibaldi, I think, as well.
Yeah. And then, like, as the show progresses, I think, like, Delenn definitely becomes a main character, like a lead.
And and it has to do with so you have to, like, agents will require a guarantee, but also SAG rules had, if you were in more than this many episodes, then you had to be considered series regular. If you were fewer than this many episodes, you could be called a recurring guest star. They were all, or not even guest star, sorry, guest star is different. A recurring character is paid at a lower scale than a series regular. But you can have series regulars who don't have a guarantee for all the episodes too. So you might be able to get a bump for the amount. Like, as a series regular, you'll get top of show credits, and you'll also get like, you'll get a certain amount paid higher, but they will only guarantee you the 13 episodes, because then they'll be like, okay, I'll give you series regular, but only for 13 or whatever it is. So it's like a whole thing. It's not gone. Like, if you watch Star Trek, Voyager, not Voyager. I said Voyager before. No, I said Discovery. I meant Discovery.
You said Discovery.
I said Discovery.
Yeah.
I always do that. And Voyager was my fave, so I like get mad that I do that. But
Voyager is my emotional support Star Trek. Really
just bring me my Janeway, please,
yes.
and a warm blanket. And so you'll still the same thing. Like, if you watch Strange New Worlds or if you watch Discovery, you'll see characters that don't show up every episode because they also have a lower guarantee, and it really sucks when you have a limited season. You know, when you had 26 and you were still going to get 13 out of it, you could make a living. And when you have 10 and you're only going to get 5 or 6 out of it, it's tough.
Oh yeah,
but
everything about streaming has made it hard to make a living in the business, hasn't it?
You know, it does, but I have to say, I read something today that made me really happy. And this is like wrong podcast, but I read an interview with Priyanka Bose. Saying
Priyanka Bose from Wheel of Time. Okay.
From Wheel of Time, who plays Alana, and she is like arguably I can't say one of, because basically they all are. But she is like her Alana is one of my absolute favorite things that they've done with this show. Like, so far beyond the book.
I said this the other day on a video that will come out long before this, but I said, like, every time anybody's on screen with the Wheel of Time, I'm like, oh, you're my favorite. And then it moves, oh, wait, no, you're my favorite. Wait, you're my favorite.
Yes.
Stop.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Totally same.
Yeah.
But Alana is definitely, I cannot get enough of her, and I can't get enough of Priyanka Waz. I just adore her. And she said, and this made me feel better, because I've had conversations with people about the casting on Wheel of Time and even the writing on Wheel of Time, which is like, I've been trying to get on that show since before it was even greenlit. And the, people are writing one episode. So you might get staffed for you'll get staffed while the writer's room is open. So you'll get a weekly, but then you get a script on top, but you're only going to get one script on top. And the weekly is going to be smaller because it's a shorter season. So it's not enough to make a full living on. And then you've got actors like Bain and Chiad who are in 3 episodes. And that's really hard to make a living on. But it was interesting because I heard Priyanka Bose, I don't know if you saw her interview today. She has an interview with an Indian magazine. And she says, before Wheel of Time, I was working, but I was struggling financially. Like I was not making a good living. And this show has allowed me to say, oh, maybe I can actually start to save a little money. And that just made me feel better because also, we're trying to keep work here in LA and trying to keep work here in Hollywood. But the reason shows like Wheel of Time go to Prague to shoot is that the tax incentives are great, but they also, that means they don't have to use SAG actors, or at least not all SAG actors, and they don't have to use WGA writers, or they can't use WGA writers or whatever. And so it becomes this most of the writers are WGA, but I'm just saying they are allowed to do things that you can't do if you were doing here, and pay people a little bit less. And so I'm glad to hear that the people are able to make a living out of it, and that's not just Amazon taking advantage of the creatives as well. So that's a long thing to say. Sorry,
this
Delane.
Babble On podcast. Yes. We Babble On. But sorry, no Delane, but she'll be back. I don't know. What's the next episode?
What is the next one?
Normally he says the title before, or the title of the next episode at the end, and he didn't this time.
Yeah. You're right.
Infection. Sorry, it's one of my least favorites of the entire series.
Well, it'll be a short one next week then.
Maybe.
We should probably do it next week and get out of the way before we take a little break. So that
because Wheel of Time is coming. It's just one of my least favorites. It's probably the most Star Trek, which is weird because I do like Star Trek. But anyway, we'll talk about it when we get there.
Cool.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. You can, I guess, subscribe and like and all of that stuff. I need to work on an outro. I need to get an outro formalized. I'm not good at it. But subscribe to the podcast on whatever format you're watching us. And we'll see you for the next episode, which is great. Infection. I did not say that.
Yes, it's fantastic. Enjoy it. Come watch with us.
Come and join us. All right.
Sounds great.
Bye.
Bye.